we are here to explain how mobile apps today could use a distributed device and network cloud for performance testing. Uh, so to introduce Headspin in a very short way, we would like to say that Headspin allows global mobile app developers to test their apps and mobile sites instantly on global cell networks without making any changes to their code. So imagine when you are releasing an app, it's not even there on the Play Store or on the iTunes Store yet, and you are wondering, is this app going to work the same way in a tier 3 city in India, in Tokyo, over, say, a Docomo network, or in US, over an AT&T LTE network? How do you test even before the app goes live on the Play Store? Once the app is live, how do you even test the current version is running well and the user experience in US and Brazil and in India is seamless and pretty much the same? Moreover, if there are issues, how do you find them? How do you measure and diagnose them? And how do you fix them? So Headspin is here, next, that will allow mobile app developers to test across 50 plus countries and 100 plus cities instantly. This is a brief background of our journey so far. We started somewhere in the middle of 2015. We are about a year old now, and there has been a considerable progress. More than 4,000 developers are already using the Headspin platform today, and they are using this to see, while sitting in their office, how their app works, say in Delhi over Airtel 4G network, or in Tokyo over a Docomo network, and so on. Not just that, we also allow direct remote access using mouse control, as well as using automation, whichever framework you may be using, directly into those phones. So what we have done is, we have gone out and installed a few real phones, say 20 phones, 30 phones, in each of these 100 cities with real SIM cards from the local place. For example, AT&T network in San Francisco. So we would really have phones who have AT&T SIM cards and some US devices in there at our cell point of presence. And what we allow you to do is, we allow you to access those phones directly from your office chair without changing any code. Next. Next. So the problem we are trying to solve is, there can be a lot of issues with the CDN delivery. It could be that your localization is wrong. For example, if the same e-commerce product has to be sold and used in different countries or different states, some of the Indian e-commerce companies have tried language localization, right? So how do you test if someone in Kerala is using our app in a city inside the state? Is the app rightly contextualized? Today there is zero visibility unless you really send some volunteers to those cities and make people test. And even if that happens, they can only tell you, okay, this worked and this didn't work. But how can you get an entire network traffic capture, get to know the TCP, TLS, connection delays, if there are any duplicate downloads happening inside your app, or if there are any SDKs that are slowing down your app, it could be analyzed through Headspin platform. Next. So here are some of the issues we have captured. You can see some of the best of the apps, some of the banking apps, some of the chatting apps used all over the globe, even today haven't been able to fix these issues. And these are issues that happen when either the network is really slow, or there is a server-side issue from your app's end. For example, it could be a congested server, or it could be that the DNS resolution isn't happening the right way. Next. Here are some more issues. Interestingly, I would like to point out that, and I'm sure you have gone through all these experiences, all that the app says is, oops, the app has crashed, either report or say okay. There's not much you can do. And I'm sure you have been going through these experiences, and when you are a developer or a quality tester, you want to see how I can recreate these issues, spot them even before I launch, and know the whole trail behind the traffic as to what led to this cause. I don't just want to know that 1% of my user sessions today failed, but I also want to know what made those sessions fail. Can I go and diagnose? What Headspin lets you do is, using machine learning, we allow you to actually trace from the metadata across other apps that are also using the Headspin platform and automatically come up with suggestions and spot fixes about the problems you have. For example, if there is a same request, let's say for the same thumbnail image being sent 4 times inside your app, our machine learning tool would automatically figure that out and show that to you as a problem. And this is something that otherwise would be very hard to figure out for an app developer. Moreover, if there is one issue happening, say, in Bhubaneswar and another issue happening in Bangalore over, say, a 2G network versus a 3G network, it becomes very complicated. Headspin has built this distributed device cloud where you can test across all these places seamlessly. So, another situation that arises is, oftentimes we feel that quality testing can be done manually or maybe locally automated. But what we show here is that if there are performance issues in the app, the first thing it reflects upon is the App Store ratings. And if the ratings are lower and the people who are newly going to install your app are seeing all these poor reviews, obviously the daily app usage and installs are going to go down day by day. How do you improve upon this? Anyone would love a curve which is increasing in App Store ratings and has a good retention of users. Most of us are spending so many thousands of dollars in acquiring new users, paying up to 500, 250 rupees to get a new install. But maybe it's about time we spend 1% of that budget also on retaining the users we have already acquired, right? Next. So what are the competing solutions? You might say, oh, testing is happening traditionally in certain ways, and what's new about this? There are some Wi-Fi throttling solutions, but let me explain that these solutions are actually like watching an HD movie in slow motion, because wireless fidelity by default has high fidelity and hence has a very low packet loss, right? Hence, this is no way a comparison to a 3G or a 2G network in India where you can have up to 15–20% of packet data loss. So this solution wouldn't work. Secondly, you have to be really in that geography to test. For example, the hop time for a Gurgaon user to a Singapore AWS server is very different for a hop time for a Kochi user, maybe on a 4G, also trying to access the same image and send the same request to the Singapore server. And if you are testing everything in your office in one location over Wi-Fi, you are never going to figure out what is the differential app user experience for all your users. The other solutions are SDKs. There are some SDKs which would occupy a lot of footprint inside your app and keep logging the network usage, crashes, as well as some of the traffic issues every 5 seconds. Now, obviously, what it's going to do is, it is in turn actually going to harm your user's experience, because the user wouldn't know the app has suddenly gone slow because at the back end, this SDK is taking a lot of data logs. Whereas Headspin doesn't even ever enter your app. As we said, there is zero code changes, which means we are a third party which acts like a network capture tool, or you are directly accessing a remote device where the traffic is captured then and there at ingress and egress points. Hence, whenever you are carrying that test, we are not really impacting your app's performance, but actually enabling and empowering you to see how it works in different locations. Finally, synthetic monitoring. So there are tools which will allow virtualization of network, right? You can go to an interface and select, oh, give me UK, British Telecom, 3G, good quality, or poor quality. Now what is happening here? It is actually equivalent to Wi-Fi throttling, right? Because it's just simulating some noise in the network, some synthetic packet data loss. But this is very different from, imagine, an e-commerce app or some gaming app where someone is making an in-app purchase and is trying to do net banking payment from some bank payment gateway and is failing and is trying to repeatedly get an OTP message or something like that. It's extremely hard to recreate that unless you are actually in the real phone and real geography on a real SIM card. So having covered what are the competitive advantages, moving next, we would want to also show how is the traditional testing happening. Oftentimes, the development team is so busy, they are churning out almost a new release every week. And then the QA team, at the last minute, gets the app and tries to test it either manually or locally. And there are obviously some bugs that are going to be left, and the buggy app still goes to the Play Store. And then the feedback keeps coming. Actually, a lot of developers, you can empathize with this statement that you keep looking at the app reviews and try to improve post-launch. What you can do here is not wait for the launch and feedback from people, but actually do this pre-launch. Even if it's a new build, before the new build gets pushed to the store, you can actually test and fix these issues. Next. So, next. This is how Headspin will change the whole scene of how app testing will happen now onwards. Headspin sits right between your developer as well as the QA. We believe that testing is not just a QA's job as well as only a developer's job or for a user to give feedback. It's a continuous process where every day you can test if you get a complaint or if you can think of a new scenario. For example, imagine an e-commerce app launching 3D views of their dresses or products inside the app. Now, before you launch this, you definitely want to know, right, that is this going to work in, say, Chennai over an Airtel 2G network? How is the user experience? Is the user going to like it? You can test this before launch. Next. So these are the 4 key verticals now. I've been talking about the testing by rerouting the network traffic from your phone into a remote phone, which is the first option. The second one is Headspin automation, where you can literally fire up your APM framework or Robotium or JUnit or Calabash, anything that you're using today, and anything which is going to help you automate with your existing scripts can be directly used for Headspin. What you could do is, you could literally run your APM scripts, say, in a Tokyo Docomo network phone, say over a Motorola 2nd generation, and get the logs directly. Third thing here is Headspin monitoring. What Headspin monitoring allows is pinging the endpoint servers using real phones all across the world from 50 countries and 100 cities that we are present in. There are some offerings out there in the market that do virtualization, again, where a virtual machine from different places tries to ping the servers. However, the problem there is those virtual machines are on fiber optic networks, and they are not really going to give the real ping experience that a user on a, say, Indian 3G network is going to get. So for banks or for e-commerce companies or for gaming companies, whoever you are, you could use Headspin monitoring to see nice curves on a dashboard where you can monitor 24/7, minute by minute or hour by hour, how is, let's say, payments.xyzbank.com server endpoint is responding to every ping from Kolkata, Bhubaneswar, Gurgaon, Pune, Mumbai, Kochi, and so on. The last one is remote control. So a lot of times we were getting these requests that, there are these device clouds out there in US or in Europe where in a single room there are 2,000 devices placed of different brands. And there's a Wi-Fi network out there where you can remotely control. But it's still not as good as testing, as I said, in India or in different cities. So people requested us that, can you give us a remote control access with a mouse and a keyboard to all these phones that you have already placed? So boom, we have come back with this product where now you don't even have to write a new test script. So let's say you are a video conferencing app or a chatting app where you want to test a call going from Toronto to Australia, where the person from Toronto calling is also simultaneously getting an SMS or a notification over some other app. Now, writing a script for all these things is tedious, and this is like a one-time scenario you want to test. But with this mouse control, a single person sitting in your office chair can do all this, right? Just go access that phone in Toronto, make a call to the Australia phone, and see while that is happening, can I get an India person or India phone to message over there? So, next. So this is a demo of the screenshots. We have a companion app where you can simply open up the Headspin companion. As you can see, there are a list of cities and networks. You choose, say, Singapore SING10 network. What is happening here is your phone in hand is getting its network entirely rerouted through the SIM card and network in Singapore, which has a Singtel telecom network. Now, whatever you do now is going back to the home screen, let's say firing up your own app or even a competitor's app and trying to see how is the experience for a user in Singapore. You could do that. Yeah. So this is the network analytics dashboard that Headspin provides. As you can see, there is a wealth of data on whatever your app traffic was going through. We have pie charts showing the TLS TCP times. On the right-hand corner, there is an entire video recording of what the user was doing, and this is on the browser. So you can simply do this test once and share this link with all your team members so that they can also see what was happening. On the left side column, you can see that the machine learning bot has automatically come up with some recommendations and spot fixes. Next. So here is a sample of a website over mobile from India being tested in Brazil. So as you can see, it automatically has opened up a Brazil network and a website. Next. This is another example over Bangalore, over another network. Going ahead, this is also another web page performance monitoring example where you could see that you can always ping and test what's the first time to load for your app or a mobile website. We have a partnership with Google's web page test monitoring, and over there, our infrastructure of phones is helping them get these results. So that's it, guys. So this is the Headspin platform where you can, to summarize, offer manual control across all these 50 countries and 100 cities, run automated tests, and finally, tunnel or reroute your app's traffic to multiple phones out there in different cities. Thank you.